Okay, welcome everybody to our T3. Today's topic is Job Ready 360. So I am going to start here by sharing my screen and get us off ready to go for our topic today. And we have some guests with us that are going to share their perspective and expertise on using Job Ready. So can everybody see my screen? It
Yep.
says find your next. Okay, so off we go. So what we're going to do is normally what we would do is talk about context, why we're learning about what we're learning. Then we'll give you that content. And then we will go off camera and we will connect at the end. And that's for those of us that are able to join in person. We will have some space to chat about what we learned and give you that space to have that not in person, but that networking time to ask each other the questions and connect with each other. Because we know this work can often be in a silo, because often you may be one of two or three people in your district doing this work. So we want to make sure we have that network that you can connect to. So our context today is going to be, why is this topic important to schools? How does it support what's next for students? And why is this topic timely? And I am going to throw this over to my colleague Holly to share a little bit about the context. Why is this topic important to schools, Holly?
That's a great question. It's becoming more important now that the accountability rule is in place. But it is a job ready, and any of the work-based learning platforms that our schools and educational partners are using are really helpful time savers, first and foremost, for getting those forms and time and schedule documentations logged for Scholar Track and IDOE. But there are also some other functions within JobReady that some of our advanced users took the time to learn more about, like portfolios and additional types of reporting and career planning. So it's helpful for all of our school partners to have that insight.
Absolutely. Thank you. And then how does it support what is next for our students?
I think I might have jumped ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I think it's helpful for our students
Yeah.
because the mobile app specifically helps students by letting them clock in, clock out while they're at the job. They can look at their time schedules. They can upload their pay stubs into that system. It's also really helpful at keeping the lines of communication open between our coordinators, students, and the employers.
All right, thank you. And finally, for context, why is this topic timely?
Well, you're looking at it on the screen. So we've got the new accountability model and graduation requirements. All of those have a very significant work-based learning component. So anything that Region 8 can do to support our educational partners around this is super helpful. So after we are now at the completion of year one for our users with Job Ready. So it's timely to kind of see what they've learned and see how they feel about going forward with this product or whatever other product they might have in mind.
Thank you very much. So, provide a little context. Now, we're going to jump into our content next. But before we do that, we want to remind you just what's available to you on our website. So, we have that discoveryournext.org. Please visit our website. We have lots of resources for you there. If you're not already receiving our monthly newsletter, it comes out the third Thursday of the month. Please make sure you sign up for that. And finally, our next resource hub is new this year. If you don't know what that is, reach out and let us know, and we can get you access to that. We are putting all of our documentation for every training that we do. So we're linking all of our slides, all of the recordings to any training we do virtually, any document that we share in trainings. We're putting everything in one place. That way you have it so we don't have to send it to you afterwards and you have to hunt through your email later to find out where all those resources are. So just be aware those are the three places that you can find all the things next, all the schools that work with us. All right. And so I am going to, again, throw it back to Holly a little bit. She's going to tell you who's presenting and why they were the chosen ones.
Yeah, so we put out a request, I think early in 2026 or maybe late in 25, to ask some of our users if they'd like to participate in this advanced user group, just to dig a little more deeply into JobReady. And you can see there on the screen what those 4 sessions entailed. We looked at making JobReady more valuable individually to each user, student portfolios, utilizing JobReady with agilities and career planning and reporting, and then the users who are on the call, Ray, Ryan, and Parker, are going to go into a little bit more depth about the pieces that they focused on, starting with Parker, who's from Fremont High School, and he's going to give us an overview of career planning. And just a note to anybody watching, not only are we recording this episode, but also on the following 3 slides, you will see links to the JobReady team's webinar Wednesday sessions on each of these topics. So as of this date, which is May 5th, 2026, webinar Wednesdays are on hold for a little bit, but all of the previously recorded episodes are on the JobReady website. So the next 3 screens will give you those links. Parker, take it away.
Okay. Let's see if I can share my screen here.
If not, I can give you permission here. Excellent. Okay.
Okay. So, talking about career planning and agilities. As far as what it looks like to a student, so this is my demo student. For us, we have career exploration, doing a portfolio, doing a job fair. So a lot of the graduation requirements that are required through the 4-year, and I'll show you this, but you can actually put on there when to do them and how to fill them in. So a student can just go in and we can make sure that those boxes are being checked as they go. As we go into the career exploration, it loads. So you can see here that it will pull up suggested occupations. Now this is going in, and they originally do an ONET interest profile, and you also can do agilities. So I went in and made an agilities for the student. So they have all their agilities right here, starting with 1, pull it up, and it will go through and give the entire outlook on the agilities. So it's all in here together. From that, you can go to and research this more as far as what they do. The IT was a huge thing in this, some different jobs. Then you can go back to the top and it will pull up suggested occupations. From there, you can look at these. Students can research them. They can favorite them. And as they go through, they can favorite the occupations and it will stay on their profile. From this, from our side, being a work-based learning and career coaching, our students are going to do this in PCC. So they are going to eventually go through their agilities, everything, start planning out what they want to do. Next year, I'm doing career coaching on top of work-based learning, but we can start building their portfolio, which we'll talk about later on, and try to fit a better internship, better work-based learning experience for them. So here's where the activities can be created. So for them, it was mainly IT. I would be able to put in here, work-based learning for intern or engineer, and I could put in maybe meeting it with a professor at Trine, and then those students can kind of go through and mark those as they go as a career coach. On top of that, when you go through and let's see if I go to their portfolio, I am able to see all of their occupations, everything that is for them. So here I can go through, I can see career exploration, I can see suggested occupations, and it gives me a huge list. My favorite ones as a student, suggested career pathways, and having this information start from, for us at least, freshman year, and having that as a guide all the way to the work-based learning portion is huge, because it keeps on top of their mind, what are some options that I can leverage my agilities, what I'm good at, in order to have the best experience for me. So that is, yeah. Is there any questions about that? Holly, I think you're muted.
I was muted. Thank you. I have a question. Are your students taking the Agile Work Profiler and then and using it in JobReady 360?
The agilities.
Yeah, the AWP and agilities. Yeah.
So next year, that's what we're going to do. So this
Okay.
year, we started a little bit late. And our PCC's in the fall for freshmen currently.
Oh, okay.
And so next year, we're going to have all our freshmen do it through JobReady. So that's
Perfect.
already there. And then we can build on top of that as we go through for them.
Excellent. Great. Does anybody else have questions for Parker? Pretty good explanation. Have you tested what you just showed with the demo student? Have you tested that with an actual student?
Our PCC teacher did, and there was a few freshmen that were able to get in it and be able to do it smoothly. I have not. The summer is a total build out summer for the entire school for me. So I haven't gone through, added them in, and looked at their stuff individually, but I know he was able to get them to be able to do it.
Okay. And I maybe I should note, I didn't note this at the top of Parker's presentation, but Parker did not join JobReady until January of 26, right? So you dove into learning JobReady and advanced users group. So I really appreciate you spending the amount of time that you have to learn it. And we're grateful that you shared it with us today. Thanks very much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I will just mention real quickly, I do recognize that my picture is at the bottom right. I was trying to figure out how to turn that off. If anybody knows how to turn that off in Zoom, let me know. So I'm trying to get that handled, but not quite being successful with that. Okay. So next up, oh, we have Ray. So I've got this screen for you, Ray, but would you like to also share your screen?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and start sharing your screen, and we'll stop sharing.
Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Excellent.
So my situation is a little bit different in that I'm not actually a work-based learning coordinator. So I am a teacher that was assigned for this particular year to our work-based learning coordinator to help him just with numbers, because he has so many people. And then that also kind of morphed into the JobReady 360. And Holly had asked us to kind of comment on one of the things that we had gone through the training with as far as reporting, which was week 4 of our training. And we're really kind of excited about it. We have not really rolled out Job 360 yet to the students because we're still trying to make sure that we understand it. But one of the reporting piece of it is one of the things that people are most excited about, and trying to, in the co-op and then eventually the internship, it's really burdensome. Right now, it's a very manual, we're taking paper forms out to the employers. You hope that the employer is there when you go to pick it up. You hope they filled it out. And by being able to do some of this automatically, it's just going to make their job so much easier, and the employer's job so much easier, because they'll be able to work on it on their own time rather than waiting until the coordinator comes out. We have a cadet teaching program here that's going to use the reporting structure for attendance. We've got, and nobody has said it from the school yet, but we're thinking that eventually they might start looking at this in a larger piece, not just from a co-op and internship, but also tracking hours of students that are trying to use that pathway, that they have so many hours that they have worked as that pathway for graduation. So, but as far as my presentation goes, what I had signed up to do was to look at how we can add forms into JobReady 360 and then sending that out to stakeholders, which is one of the things that's most important for our co-op program right now, is just to make the evaluation forms and some of those things where they can do it automatically instead of having to rely on paper. So allows us to put a pre-existing paper form into the system. Having that form in electronic format allows that to be completed electronically by everybody involved. And then you can do it whenever it's the right time for you, right? That gives the employer a little more flexibility. But after each person completes their part, it automatically sends it on to the next stakeholder. So the student can complete their part. It'll automatically go to the employer, or however you set that up. So as I built a form, it was just easier for me to take a screenshot of it than to actually build it on in front of everybody, because that would have been time consuming. So I just took screenshots all along the way. It's not a complicated process. You go to forms, click on that settings, and then there's a form templates that comes down. Put in to add a new form, and then you name it. So you name the form, and then you load your current form in, that paper form, into a PDF file, load that PDF file into the system. You can choose concurrent signers so that everybody can see everybody signing along the way. You want to choose that only, though, if the remaining signers have signature and sign dates only. So everybody's just signing it, dating it, and sending it back. If your particular form belongs in a career cluster, you can do that here. And then you do need to put in the module availability. So if you're in our situation at Homestead, we have this work-based learning module, but if you have a co-op versus internship module, you can do it exactly how you want to do it, and that way it'll show up when you pull that particular module up. And this is where you load in the signers. Who's going to sign this form? The one that I'm doing here requires the employer, the student, and the work-based learning coordinator all to be involved. And so you set it up to who's going to sign first, and then when they've done their part, it's going to go to the second signer, and then to the third. So, and the other nice thing about the system is we do have these question marks, and all you have to do is, if you need more information on any part of the form, you just hover your cursor over those question marks, and it will give you a hint as far as what's going on in that particular scenario. Now, everybody that signs on that form will eventually get a copy of the completed form when everybody's done. But this also allows you, this part of the form input allows you to carbon copy specific users if you wanted to carbon copy a department head or something like that. Progressions is nice, and we're actually going to use that in the future because we have that evaluation form that has to go out every quarter. So the progressions, if you use that, you will be able to put in there, the form will kind of go out in a certain order. So if you've got that first quarter evaluation, it goes out first quarter, second quarter, and it only allows the user to fill out the quarter that you're in. So that progressions can kind of automate some of those forms that need to go out on a regular basis. And then at the bottom here, the email notifications. When you send it, you can put in here how often you want that user. So if you're waiting on the employer to sign something, how often do you want them to get a reminder? So you can say send them a reminder every 3 days. You can stop those reminders. I've got it right now stopped at 30 days. So at that point, you can kind of assume the employer is just not going to fill that out. So you can stop bothering them and asking them to fill it out. And then you can also put in a time to auto cancel that particular form. And if you do cancel it, everybody gets notification of that. So it's not like it just falls off into Never Land. You will get, the work-based learning coordinator will get a notification that form has been canceled. So if they need to follow up on it in person, they can do that. You can put a note in here, additional email notification, put a note in there of what you're asking them to do. So here we're doing an evaluation form, just ask them to complete that, and then add the form, and that form should then be in there. Next biggest thing is to go back to forms. Now you have to build it. So you have to actually go in and tell the system what you want the system to do with that form. So you go back to forms, click on the settings and the form templates, find your new form, which in our case was down here, co-op evaluation. And now you're going to build it. So the little 3 buttons over here on the side are what JobReady 360 calls their action button. And in that, you will have an option for builder. And this is what comes up. So it's going to bring your paper format up. and then you have to actually put in the fields that you want this form to build for you. So it allows you to customize those fields that you want each person to complete, who's going to complete it, what type of information you're looking for. So in my sample here, just getting the student name at the top, the boxes at the top are what type of information you want contained in that field. So in my situation here, I just need the text of the student name. So you pick the text. It'll create a box for you that you can draw, make it any size that you want. Then over here on the side, you put in who the signer should be, right? And that way, if that's going to go, if the work-based learning coordinator is supposed to fill it out and they're third in line, it won't ask that to be filled out until it gets to the work-based learning coordinator. The name of the field, in this case, it was student name. And then you have this option here, which is nice. It's a pre-fill option. So this will draw the information directly from JobReady 360 and automatically fill that out. So I have this pre-filled, so the system will know to go ahead and fill that in with the student's name, and that will happen automatically. You can make that field required. In other words, if that's supposed to be signed off on by the employer can't complete the form until those required fields are at, and it will show them what they're missing. It will take them back to that field and say, this is a required field that you have to put in. You can align the text if you want it center, top, bottom. Typically with the vertical alignment, we were told that for longer fields, like if you're asking them to write a paragraph, you would want to align that with the top of the field. It will make it look nicer. And then you just go to every field that you want. Here we wanted a supervisor name, we wanted a company name, we want a company phone number. Some of that can be pre-filled if that information is in JobReady 360. The only thing that really can't be pre-filled right now, and I don't know if that's a glitch in JobReady 360 or something that they're working on, but Allie said that the addresses are not able to be pre-filled at this point, that we have to do that manually. And the last thing we had for this form was a student signature down at the bottom. So we highlight that, make that required to be filled out by the student. And up here in these boxes, we have a spot for a signature. It will make it look like a signature when it's filled out, when they type their name in there. And we also have a date box. So that would go by the supervisor's signature when the supervisor at their job completes that. And then it will automatically put a date in there. And then, of course, don't forget to save your form. And from there, it's just a matter of sending it out. So you go back to your work-based learning tab, depending on what kind of form you put in, whether it's a recurring form that you have that going out every so often, or this one was an enrollment form. You just click on that spot on the student that you want to send it out for. It will bring this evaluation form up. You click on the action button or the three little dots, and there's your submit button. And once you click submit, that will send it out to the first person that it's in. It will give you that. It will show you who it's going to. And the way I set this one up, it's going to the employer first, but you can also skip that person if it's something that you don't need or you want to get that done in person maybe. It goes to the student next and finally to the work-based learning coordinator. And once you hit start form, the process begins. It's going to go out to the first signer. So we have completed this with a test student, which worked out well. So everything went the way that we thought it was. A couple little tweaks that we wanted to make. And so now we're just kind of lining everything up, getting all the emails in, and we're going to try and get that out to employers next week for the first time.
That's excellent. So is the test student in this case? Oh, that's you. Okay, I can see that now.
Yeah, so I put the employer as Brian McNeil, who is our work-based learning coordinator, and I put myself in as a student for my personal email, and then I'm loaded in the system for some reason as a work-based learning coordinator, which I'll have to get that changed when we do this. So
Okay. Do you see yourself in this role again for 26, 27?
no.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they have already informed me that I will not be helping, but I think with having this knowledge, they're going to come to me. So, I'm more than willing to help out. And I think these are the kind of things that I can hand to the work-based learning coordinator, to Brian McNeil, and he can walk through and learn how to do this himself. And we're in the same department. I'm right here with him. Our classrooms are very close, so we'll be working closely together. But currently this year, they're giving me a period to help him, which we don't have available for next year. So.
Understood. Well, you did an amazing job of walking us through that. So I appreciate the time that you took to do that. And it's not always, I know from experience that it's not always easy to pick up on how to build these forms, but I think the combination of JobReady making it a fillable form and you being able to describe it and walk us through it the way you did was really helpful. So thank you for that. Does anybody have questions?
I don't have a question, but I can tell you, having an intern, that I get to see the end result of that as the employer, and it is really convenient. I just get a form and I fill out just my part of it and send it in. So, yeah,
It's going to make the people that run co-op internship, all of that's their job a lot easier.
yeah, it's neat to see how it's made back behind the scenes. So,
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ray. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And our last advanced user for today who's going to be speaking is Ryan Taylor, and he's from Carroll. Go ahead, Ryan.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
there.
Yes.
Excellent. So just to kind of give you a little background, we have been using JobReady 360 in the work-based learning area for our ICE program and internship program basically the whole year. And so my objective in this training was to how can we use JobReady 360 outside of the work-based learning? And so I've been kind of looking at it. Can we use it in our middle school? Can we use it in some of the other grades as well? And so I took on the topic of the portfolios, but I had to kind of learn some of the stuff that Parker was talking about at the beginning. And we actually had a meeting last week with our middle school individuals. And we found out that the JobReady 360 would really be a great platform where our middle schools, our high schools can all use the same thing. Students would be able to put their information into JobReady 360. They would be able to use it year after year after year. The information that they put in there is stored in there. It's safe. It's secured. And so they can build on the information that they put in there during the prior years. They can also set goals. They can track what their goals were. They can reflect on it. And it also allows employers eventually to give some feedback as well. So we are very excited that our upper administration is looking at expanding this and using it for the years to come. So yeah, we're excited about that. But I am going to go ahead and present. Is my screen, can you see my screen? Where are we at? How do I present my screen? Share?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Here we go. So a little bit about portfolios. What I did is I've been doing a little bit of the portfolio stuff in my ICE class. So what I brought up here is one of my ICE students, one of their portfolios. And what I basically wanted to kind of show was how easy it is for the students to go in there and actually input information into this. So they have different options in here, different buttons, but the main one there is the build the portfolio. And so this is kind of the portfolio components where kids are able to go in here and it has different sections. And so here we have our introduction tab. And so kids can go in here and they can write a summary and they can put as much information in there as they want. Year after year, they can go in there and they can update it. There is an AI suggestion over here, which doesn't basically tell them what to put in it, but it makes sure that the wording is correct, the grammar is correct. So that way, when they do complete their portfolio, is kind of a professional portfolio as well. But they have all these different tabs that they can click on to input information. We haven't utilized all of them, but we're starting to. And next year, we plan to utilize all this stuff in my ICE class. But I also do have here, I do have a demo account. And so what I kind of wanted to talk about is when the students are done, what actually happens to this portfolio. And so the students are able to put in an alternate email and actually take this portfolio with them. So all the work that they've been doing over the past 5, 6, even 7 years, they're able to take it with them. They're able to get into it, make modifications, change things, all that good stuff. They can also turn it into a V card, a business card. They can print out a PDF, or they can just download the whole portfolio as well. But here we have a demo student that kind of would show you what the end result of a portfolio may look like. So if we kind of scroll through here, we can see that we start out by talking about the individual themselves. And they can kind of change and pick what they want to have in here. In this demo one, we have this individual, they're talking about their skills. We have them talking about their strengths. They may talk about their personal interests, their career objective, goals, achievements, what their professional goals are as well. So that's kind of the first section of the portfolio. We can then move into the second part of the portfolio, which would be the resume. And we can kind of see the different links up here. But in the resume section, it's kind of nice because they can just put some generic information out there, where they've worked, education. But then in addition to that, they can actually link different resumes to this account. And they can also link multiple resumes. So if a student is not sure if they want to go into the field of teaching or nursing, they can have two different types of resumes out there for future references. And then they can open that up, print it out, and send it to potential employers. They can send it to colleges, all different kinds of places. They can also put out there, you can kind of see certificates. They can upload anything they want. In JobReady 360, they also have the option of students earning badges. And so if a student completes XYZ, they would be able to earn a badge, and you can kind of set those up in JobReady 360. So the kids would be able to go out there and kind of put the different badges that they have received. In addition, there's other things that would probably go into a resume, student organizations that they might be a part of, any clubs or anything like that. The next section is recommendations. And I kind of like this because what they do is they can put all their references out there. And so here we have John Doe as one reference. We can put as many references out there, and then those kids can kind of pick and choose depending on what they're trying to go for. If it's a job, if I'm going for teaching, maybe I want some kind of a teacher, a counselor, something that I might want to have as my reference. I can also have as many recommendations, letters of recommendations. So, I get, as a teacher all the time, I get kids asking me for letter of recommendations. A lot of times they're coming back, hey, I need another copy. I need this. I can email the student a letter of recommendation, and then they can actually keep it on their portfolio and use it whenever they would like. The other thing is there's the opportunity to go ahead and put certificate, awards, or anything like that they have out there. Oops, I forgot a section. My fault. The portfolio, they can put out their best work. If they have examples of it, they can put out writings. If they did an English paper and they want to put that out there, they can put little videos out there, just showing some of their accomplishments and all that. And then the last thing, any kind of awards that they received, a certificate, they can take a picture of it, they can download it, and they can put that on their portfolio as well. The bottom line is that this is something that is just not a high school thing, but it's a thing that they can take with them after they graduate. As long as they put an alternate email in besides their school email, they will have access to this. They will be given a QR code so they can show different employers. They can show anybody a QR code, and they can scan that, and they can get their portfolio to come up as well. So we're pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about trying to incorporate this a little bit more with my ICE students next year. But overall, I'm really excited that, our corporation is really looking at how can we utilize JobReady 360 instead of using 5 different platforms, Cooter and all that for the career planning that Parker kind of talked about, that we might be able to utilize this one platform and the kids can use it from year after year.
That's amazing, Ryan. So did you, when you were at the top of that page, did you talk about how students can link their portfolio to LinkedIn? There's a nudge there for LinkedIn. Okay.
Yep. They can link it to LinkedIn. They can connect it to Facebook. All different kinds of options. They have an opportunity to put a picture up there if they want. But yeah, they can just use it in so many different ways.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple of things to add on to your amazing presentation is that starting in the fall, I've set up with JobReady a series of, right now we're at 5 monthly live trainings. So Ali Souter from JobReady will be scheduling a monthly training through the fall and into January. And the first one, right now, the first one is looking at the career coaching framework, and that's going to be an embeddable piece so that when your middle school kids and your high school kids are looking at the things like that, create a graduation plan, they can do it right there in JobReady. There's also the area for the clubs and activities. So you hit on something that's really going to be important down into the middle schools coming up this fall. So I appreciate that. Oh, the other thing is that we now know, and for all of you educators out there who receive my emails, the AWP, the Agile Work Profiler, is embedded into a student's account. So they should be able to use those results and put them right into their resume and any other pieces of the portfolio, utilizing that language for maybe a better, more successful connection. So I wanted to add that to it. Lastly, I'll just say for any of those portfolio pieces, I think those would make really good class assignments. You could do a resume or go out and find a recommendation or put your best work in and have that as a series of assignments. So I like that you were showing that kind of trajectory of how they could do that. So thank you so much for that. Does anyone have any questions for Ryan? Piece of cake, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the effort that you went to, Ryan, and I know you've had a pretty active spring. You've had a lot going on, so I appreciate the time that you put into it. And what an amazing presentation! And I know we're talking about some other schools in your district here soon. So thank you so much for that. That's going to wrap for all of our advanced users in JobReady. We had one present in April, and the remaining 3 presented to you here today. And as I said, if you're looking at these slides later, please note that those are live links you can click on to go to JobReady's webinar Wednesdays on those items. And we will have more live trainings coming up this fall. With that, I'm going to throw it back to Amy. Thanks so much for having us on T3 Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you. So again, to highlight again, thank you, Parker, thank you, Ray, and thank you, Ryan. And so we are almost finished up here. So the next slide here is just inviting everyone to share ideas for Timely Topic Tuesdays. So our big question is, what topics, speakers, or content do you need to meet your goals for the next 15 months, just through the end of our goal cycle? So how can we support you? What topics do you want to hear about? And then finally, getting to that connection portion. So we always say the answer's in the room, right? We're not saying we're the experts and know the answers to every question you might have, but we know the answers in the room. And sometimes that's a virtual room. So what we're going to do is we are going to go off camera here in a second, but we're going to stop recording, but we're going to stay on and have some conversation and connection time. Just remembering that the rules of engagement during that time are it's a judgment-free zone. We're here to support each other. We're not going to be recording. And we will put the questions and answers on our resource hub anonymously, though, if questions and answers do come up. And are we missing anything? We just also invite to make more rules if we need them. So that is what we have for today. Also, we have your feedback matters to us. So if you have feedback for how these sessions are running, let us know. There's a QR code there. You can pause and give us some feedback. And letting you know what's coming up next, we have an agilities training June 2nd. That is for PCC teachers only. So we're customizing a training about agilities and how the scope and sequence aligns with PCC standards. And so we really have a dialed in one just for PCC teachers. Our next collaboration meeting will be August 28th, so beginning of the school year. And then our next T3, we're taking the summer off, will be September 1st. And so we don't have a topic yet for that one because it's not timely yet. So please let us know what your topics that you are needing to know about in September. Okay, and here's our team. So again, we have Cindy, our program director, Holly, our work-based learning specialist, Barb is in the room with us. She's our data guru. And then Sarah and I are your career coach specialists. So we will then go back to our connection time. And we will say goodbye to everybody that is joining us virtually after the fact. So I will stop recording and then the rest of us will keep talking. I'm going to stop there and stop recording. Thank you very much. And